Greetings everyone, Jake Berstein, Weekly Capital Markets Report. It's Sunday, July 14th, 2019 at 6:59 a.m. in Santa Cruz, California. I had originally decided to do today's trading lesson on the subject that we covered last week, but I've changed my mind. The reason being that some other information has come to light that's very important right now, and that is market sentiment. I've gotten some emails from people who apparently don't seem to understand what market sentiment is. So let me explain it to you. Here is a chart of S&P Futures daily. On the bottom of the screen, I've got the Daily Sentiment Index. The Daily Sentiment Index is a short-term indicator of small trader sentiment. When sentiment gets too high, by which I mean 90% or higher, the market is likely to correct to the downside, the sentiment being a leading indicator of the small trader being too bullish. When the sentiment gets down below 25, it's a leading indication of a low. Sometimes the price and the low and sentiment correlate very close to 100%. It's a very important leading indicator. I've slowed down the Daily Sentiment Index with a 3-period moving average, and it's shown down here at the bottom. I want you to look at the correlation. Let's go to the bottom in S&P, daily chart. On this day, we've got the vertical green line. We had the lowest price of the move, and that corresponded with what to that point in time was the lowest sentiment, an indication of a bottom. You can use the sentiment in various ways to trigger buy or sell triggers, signals. Let's take a look at the high in sentiment. Notice the high sentiment here preceded a top and a correction down. Likewise over here for a small correction. Likewise over here for a small correction, and likewise over here for a fairly decent correction. So the sentiment is a leading indicator, and let's take a look at it now in some of the other markets. There have been some people who are concerned, saying that the grains have gone up too high, too fast, too soon. Well, let's answer the question objectively. Let's go to the wheat. Here's the wheat. Continuous chart. And let's take a look. Let's get the chart in there first. That would help a lot. One moment, please. The wheat. And here we go. And what have we got? The sentiment is just barely above 50%. Notice the very low sentiment readings that correlated with the bottom. Therefore, even in spite of this rally, in answer to the question, is the sentiment too high in wheat? The answer is no. According to this, the rally is just getting started. How about corn? Here's the corn. Notice the correlation between sentiment lows and the rally. And notice right now the sentiment is just barely reaching 75% on the 3-day moving average, therefore not high enough to be a leading indicator of a top in this market. What about soybeans? Similarly, according to what I see here, this rally is just getting started, and the sentiment has just dipped above the 50% level, therefore not significant in terms of a leading indicator for top. Let's ask the question, when was the last time sentiment was too high in the beans? You've got to go all the way back to 2016 before you see that the sentiment was too high. We could make a case with the sentiment being too high right over here and leading indication of a top. Therefore, no danger in my opinion of a significant top based on sentiment. Let's expand the chart one time and let's take a look at a different situation. The bonds, where the sentiment was recently too high. Let's take a look. Now notice, sentiment above 90%. Is a leading indicator to this decline. Over here, similarly, leading indicator to decline. And now recently, over here, let me mark it for you. Leading indicator correlates almost to the day of the top of this move. When was the last time the sentiment was low on the bonds? Well, let's take a look. right over here low on the bonds for a number of days before the huge rally. So that does it for today's sentiment. Daily Sentiment Index available from my office to add onto your Genesis Trade Navigator if you want to do that. A video on how to use it goes with it. If you have any questions, I'm Jake at trade-futures.com. Thanks for being here for the lesson today.